that was about the most disappointing, embarrassing game of football I've seen from the Green Bay Packers in quite a while. Probably since 2018, back before McCarthy was fired. The Lions absolutely dominated this game, out physically the Packers, out coaching the Packers, and out producing the Packers and being more overall efficient as a team. As clearly you can see, they got out to a 27-3 lead at halftime. That first half was embarrassing. So embarrassing that I actually turned the game off at halftime. I was with my fiance watching the game, thinking it was going to be a good competitive game, and then it sank the life out of me, and I just told her, just turn off, let's watch something else, I need to be happy right now. And so that's what happened, as the Packers just got thoroughly manhandled. There was an attempt as a comeback, but it was too little, too late, and a couple costly mistakes turned the game definitely against our favor. But that first half is inexcusable what happened. The O-line got completely manhandled, and it's just, I'll get into more details later on in the video, but first let's go ahead and look at the scoring, and we'll look at stats, go over what went wrong, and what bright spots we have for the future, especially against the Raiders on Monday Night Football next week. So, start off after a Rudy Ford interception on the first play for the first drive for the Lions. The Packers able to score a 34-yard field goal by Anders Carlson, who continues to be perfect on the year, one of the few bright spots on the team so far in this game. Then back-to-back touchdowns by the Lions with an Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown pass that was completely wide open, completely faked out Rasul Douglas for a 7-3 Detroit lead. David Montgomery had a 3-yard touchdown run. And then the second quarter, just domination of Raleigh Patterson hit a 33-yard field goal. David Montgomery had a 2-yard touchdown run and a 37-yard field goal from Riley Patterson again for a 27-3 game and a half. Third quarter, the only score was a Christian Watson in his first game back, had a 1-yard touchdown pass from Jordan Love. And then we completed the Jaden Reed for a 2-point conversion for a 27-11 deficit. And we got in within 10 without the entire fourth quarter left. The Jordan Love 9-yard touchdown run, but we failed a 2-point conversion. And then they had a long, sustained scoring drive for a David Montgomery 1-yard touchdown run. And then with about 3 minutes left, we kicked a 50-yard field goal by Anders Carlson for the final score of 34-20. If you look at the stats for the Packers, it was kind of brutal. Jordan Love had a high completion percentage, went 23 for 36 for 246 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Both of them not. I can't really blame one of them, as one was a really athletic play by Alex Anzalone to tip the ball at a highest peak that led to an interception. That play would have been completed in my opinion, and then a complete miscommunication between him and Romeo Doubs in the goal line scenario where Doubs just ran the complete wrong route from where Jordan was throwing it. But the biggest thing was 5 sacks for 43 yards. He only been sacked like 2 times all year so far. And that was not even considering the amount of pressures the Lions had this game. Like, especially in that first quarter, like first half. Like, every single snap that we tried to throw the ball, it was just pressure up the middle. Josh Myers, Royce Newman, and even John Runyon really struggled in this game. And that was kind of surprising. The tackles actually played relatively decent. I mean, you can only do so much against Aiden Hutchinson, who has been an absolute beast so far this season. He could be a defensive player of the year contender this season. And so, not really a great pass game. And really didn't help us that we could not get a run game going. Again, mainly because the offensive line was just being physically manhandled by the front 4. Not even the front 7. The front 4 of the Lions. They did not need to blitz at all to get pressure on the Packers or stop the run. Aaron Jones in the first game back only had 6 total touches, 18 yards on the ground, 3.6 average. A.J. Dillon had 5 touches for 11 yards, and Jordan Love had 1 rushing touchdown. Romeo Doubs actually had a pretty decent game, had 9 receptions for 95 yards on 13 targets. Jaden Reed, 3 for 55. Samori Toure, 1 for 35. Josiah DeGuara, after Luke Musgrave went down with an injury, had 4 receptions for 35 yards. Decent progress from him. Christian Watson, 2 for 25 with a touchdown. Tucker Kraft, 2 for 5. And Luke Musgrave, 1 for 1, again, leaving with a concussion. There were a couple fumbles by Jordan Love and Jaden Reed. None of them lost, thankfully, and Keandre Thomas recovered one. Quay Walker had himself a game, having 19 total tackles, basically kind of like the only guy providing much effort on defense. McDuffie had 9 total tackles, Ford 8 with the interception and a pass deflection. Devontae Wyatt had a sack and 2 tackles for loss. Colby Wooden had a tackle for loss. Justin Hollins had a tackle for loss. No, he didn't. Carl Brooks had a sack and tackle for loss and a pass deflection. And yeah, just not really good from the Packers there on defense. The run defense especially was porous. Rudy Ford had 1 interception for 21 yards. Keyshawn Nix did not do a great job returning kicks, had a 23-yard average, which is not what you want to see. But he did have a 34-yard punt return touchdown to head of a short field for the Packers. Anders Carlson, again, impressive. Perfect on the game. 2 for 2 with a long of 50 yards on the game, so he continues to be perfect on the season. And Daniel Whelan had a really good game punting. Had 5 punts, averaged almost 52 yards per punt. No touchbacks, none inside the 20, though. And a long of 57, so good for him there. But what really tore us apart was giving up 200 yards rushing again. We allowed David Montgomery to just bulldoze and pinball his way down for 3 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs had 40 yards as well, and he wasn't even used as he was the better runner. And it's just Jared Goff did not have to do much. And then the Detroit defense was insane. Aiden Hutchinson had 1.5 sacks. Kaminsky had a sack. McNeil had a sack. Harris had a sack. And Buggs had a sack. And Jerry Jacobs had 2 interceptions on the game. It was not good for the Packers. And it was just everything. Everything went wrong. Nothing, like, we put ourselves too far behind the 8-hole. In the first half, we had 20 yards of offense. They had 27 points. They had more points than we had yards on offense. And our defense, granted, did not play well at all. But they were just out there for too long in the first half. The offense did nothing to help them at all. Like, they had more forced downs, more total plays, more yards per play as well. Definitely more rushing yards. That's what killed us, was the amount of rushing yards we gave up. And Matt LaFleur was actually mad at the defense for this. And it comes down to, Joe Barry is not helping this team. You should have been fired in the offseason, Matt. You know this. I know this. Everyone knows this in the NFL. So why the heck is he still on this coaching staff? He is actively hurting this defense, who has talent. You see the flashes of talent on his defense. Devontae Wyatt, first-round pick last year, looked great. Looks good so far. Quay Walker has taken a massive leap. We got Rashawn Gary. Isaiah McDuffie has played well. We got good guys on the defensive line. Kenny Clark is still here. There is no reason why this team cannot be good on defense. And it comes down to the coaching. But then again, it comes down to coaching on the offense, too. And that first half offensive play calling was trash, Matt. You know that. Do better. I don't want to hear saying, we should run the ball more, when you only gave him 12 touches all game. I know it wasn't working as well, but you still have to keep trying. You can't come out first 2 drives of the game, go 6 straight passing plays and expect success, especially against this defense. You saw it on that first drive when there was like a massive sack right away. You got to try to get them honest and try to play to run, and then you can open up play action and such. Special teams wasn't necessarily that great either. It was awful. It was awful. But there is some signs of hope. One, we didn't keel over and die. Bad teams give up at halftime when they're down big. Look at the Bears and Broncos last week. They just gave up. We fought. I will admit that the second half was a lot better. The Packers really fought to get back in the game. Granted, it wasn't good enough. But Jordan Love, again, had a higher completions than he had all season. And when he's not pressured, he looks great. I don't think any quarterback could have survived behind that line tonight, honestly. Even Mahomes. Romeo Doubs, again, looks like a very solid number 2 receiver. He's been playing really well so far. When he's healthy, Christian Watson is back, so should hope with that. And we got plenty of rest coming up to Monday Night Football next week. Then we have a bye week to try to get everyone healthy. It just sucks because a couple guys are out long term. David Bakhtiari had a knee procedure, and he's most likely out for the season. And yeah. And I'll talk about the Quay Walker penalty. Everyone's saying cut Quay Walker. You do not cut Quay Walker when that was a stupid penalty. It was, but guys, he was at least trying to block a field goal. Granted, it led to a touchdown, but all throughout the game, he is showing effort. This year, he is improving as a defender. Mentally, he seems to be a lot more at peace. And this is just a dumb decision. I guarantee you the coaching staff told him, hey, go jump over this so we can try to block this. And everyone's like calling for Quay Walker's head. It's like, Quay Walker has been pretty darn good this season. Like, no joke. He has been good. Like, if you look at him so far this season, He has, let's see here, in the regular season has 47 total tackles, 22 solo, 25 assists, interception return for a touchdown, 2 pass deflections, and it's just, he just looks like a completely different guy so far this season, and I don't know how much more you want to say for him. He's been incredible as well, and again, Romeo Doubs, he's been good. 20 receptions for 224 yards, 3 touchdowns, already matched his touchdown total from last season, I believe, and he has been really, really solid as a receiver. So, not really much to say there. And then Jordan Love, I still believe in him. I just think this was like one of the worst possible scenarios for him in this game, where the O-line was banged up against a really, really good Lions defense that has a really good pass rush, and he just wasn't really able to get it done. But I still believe in him as our quarterback. I think next week against the Raiders is going to be a really good potential get-right game, as they really only have Max Crosby for us to worry about on the D-line, and our defense is kind of suspect. And so, yeah, I think the Packers will be fine, especially because our schedule is really looking nice coming up soon, where we have the Raiders, and we have in like 10 days the Broncos after a bye week, and they've looked pretty bad. The Vikings have not looked great. The Rams have not looked great. The Steelers have a good defense, so we're worried about that game, but their offense should be manageable. Then we have the Chargers, which who knows what's going to happen there. That's probably going to be a loss. Lions and Chiefs, and that's going to be like such a 3 really tough games. But then we end the season with the Giants. Who knows how good they're going to be. The Buccaneers, the Panthers, the Vikings, and Bears. And so there is a possibility here where we can go like 9-8, 10-7, sneaking as a wild card, and go from there. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. It was, again, massively disappointing game, but I still have hope for this season, and I do think Jordan Love will just continue to get better. We just need to get healthy on the O-line. That is the key. If we get Elton Jenkins back next week, I think that's going to be a big, big help. But let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you again very, very soon.